You already did when you registered.
Yeah, the little thing comes up on screen though to ask us again or to remind us that it's happening.
Oh, that's excellent.
Ooh,
Great.
we're all about consent. So welcome everyone to our campaign toolkit launch for our partners for the campaign and IPVS members who may also be interested in finding out more about what we're doing. This is our second event today. Chris was up early talking to Asia. So we do these sessions in 2 blocks so that we can reach people around the world and make sure our partners are involved. And then also we send these recordings out to registered participants so that they can catch up on what we've been talking about. So we're a small crew today, so I think we can easily do roundtable discussion, introductions, and also we're not that many that I think we need to be using the chat for discussion. We can handle questions live as we go along. So I'll just introduce myself. My name's Anita Wiseman. I'm the campaign manager for Ask About HPV. I've been here since the campaign started, working with Joel and the team and the committee to get the campaign going. So it's been a fantastic privilege to work on this and to see the campaign really taking off with the help of all of our partners. We really, really appreciate all of your efforts on this. And we're glad to see you here today. So I've lost the presentation, Chris.
No, but if we're doing a round of introductions,
Our
I
introductions,
thought
we want to see
maybe
people's faces. Yeah,
looking
you're
at
right.
people's faces is more fun.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't, layer on the Chanel for nothing. So
Okay, so you can on my screen, it's Anthony that's next up.
Hi, everyone. And Chris, you look great. It's really nice to be part of this group. So my name is Anthony Lombardi. I'm the Chief Operating Officer and Inclusion and Engagement Advisor for HPV Global Action, VPH Action Globale. We're based in Montreal, Canada, but we have activities and team membership from pretty much all over the world. So it's great to meet all of you and can't wait to move forward.
Thanks. Maria?
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Maria Adamchuk-Korotitska. I'm from Ukraine, West Ukraine. We have no war here. And I am a chief of Fight Cancer Foundation. Our sphere, it's prevent cancer. And we want to be your partner because we are in Ukraine there are any organization who work in such field. And it's very important. So we want to join to your network together, work on HPV prevention. Do you understand me?
No, we understand you absolutely perfectly.
Okay, thank you very much.
You. Danielle?
Thank you, Anita. Thank you, everyone, for having us here today. I'm the Communications Advisor for HPV Cancers Alliance. We are headquartered in New York City, and we work to spread knowledge around HPV and prevention, but we're heavily focused on HPV cancer screening and treatment. And I am here on behalf of Lillian Krupel, who's the executive director, who could not be here today as well. We did participate last year in the One Less Worry campaign, and really thought IPBS did a phenomenal job with that campaign. So we're excited to support your efforts again this year.
Thank you. Nagayasu?
Hello, my name is Nagayasu Egawa. Actually, I'm very, what to say, is a basic scientist. So I'm always talking about HPV and usually not interested in the people. But like after joining this campaign team, I'm start to talk to the people about HPV and cervical cancer. Then I'm joining this team as a committee member for the IPBS for the advocacy and the campaign. Then I'm just mainly managing some campaign in Japan. Probably you know is HPV is vaccination is almost 10 years stopped in Japan. Then we had a lot of the problem about vaccine hesitancy or a lot of myth or whatever. And even screening uptake is very, very low. So big success is we started the HPV vaccination recommendation for the national immunization program is 2 years ago, actually 1 year ago. Then, but still uptake is relatively low. So we need to have a lot of work and together with other over the world people over the world. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Nagayasu. And yeah, we're there in the presentation as we go forward. You'll see some of the work that has been done by Nagayasu and by Nagayasu's networks in Japan, and also by Anthony's organization in Canada. So that's they were some of our highlights from next year, from last year. Coralie?
Yes, hi everyone. So I'm Coralie Degerville. I'm the executive manager of the Society of the IPBS Papillomavirus Society. So I'm based in Geneva, in Switzerland, and happy to have all of you with us today.
So, me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I left the best to last, Chris, of course.
I'm going to try and tell you something you don't know about me. No. Okay, I'm Chris Amsinger, originally American. I've lived in Amsterdam in Holland for the last 33 years. That's where I'm based. I've worked on the campaign for 3 years. I love it. And, it's excellent to develop contacts with passionate partners around the world that want to take the materials that IPBS has tried to create and use them in the field. So that gives Anita and I and Coralie and the IPBS Advocacy Campaign Committee that we work with so much energy. So thank you everybody for being here.
Thanks. Just to echo that, Nagayasu talked about being on the committee and mostly being a bench scientist, and that kind of our partnership is really our way of connecting the science to the communities. So you guys are really, really important to us, and we're so appreciative of the work that you do in taking this out. So now we're going to move on to the campaign outline for this year. Some of it will be familiar, some of it will be new. And we'll just help to understand that and run through the resources that have been developed for you and some of the other activities that are getting pulled together. So if we just go on to the next slide. So yeah, for HPV Awareness Day, our goals really haven't changed. They've remained the same pretty much since last year. So we want to raise awareness and understanding of HPV. And that's what makes us unique. We don't talk about specific cancers or specific diseases caused by HPV. We're talking about the agent that is responsible for that and raising awareness and understanding of it, because we think that really is the foundation for people taking informed action. And on so many levels, it's really important. Yeah. So we look at for doing that, we really look at our campaign reach, and we look at what you guys are doing as our measure. So it's really important for us to know what it is that you're up to and how that's going for you. And also if you gather any data about who's attended events or how many people in your audience or your community you've engaged, that's always really, really helpful to us. Our second goal is to provide is to use March the 4th. We're kind of moving to a year-round campaign, but we want to use March the 4th as a primary visible annual focal point for International HPV Awareness Campaign. So while we have a firework day where we're there and we want the whole world to be talking about HPV, we also work through the year and leverage other days and other community opportunities to continue the conversation and to use the resources that we've developed so that we can make the most of that and support the messaging of our partners working in different cancer awareness programs or health inequalities issues, gender, and so on. So we continue that round. We mostly measure that, and you'll have seen our campaign, hopefully seen our campaign evaluation reports, where we include details of the size of our audience, the kind of conversation around our hashtags, and we look at where we have heat maps of where those conversations have taken place so that we can see if we're actually reaching communities that we want to get to. So the use of our hashtags and the activities is really important. And then our third goal really is to provide assets for partners for you to use and to support local adaptation and really help to align a global message with your local priorities and your local context. So if you're a partner with us, you are able to customize. We trust you, we trust you as our partners to use and customize the assets that we've developed and to make a judgment call about how you're going to align your local messaging with our global theme. And really to look at that, to get a sense of how effective that is. Some of it we see in the activities around the world when we see kind of a massive billboard somewhere with our campaign identity on it. We know that that's happening, but we also look at visits to our website and asset downloads, interactive social media post builder, how many people have used that particular function. So those are the things that we look at for our measurements. Next slide. Yeah. We, at the beginning of our One Less Worry campaign, really had a look at the communities that we were trying to address. And while there's two kind of communities in terms of ages, we look at the dreamers, who are the vaccination, that's our vaccination focused messaging. We look at doers, who are women aged 25 plus. Now those audiences are focused on cervical screening. And then around those, we have other audiences that we need to get to those particular communities. And you'll have connections with those particular audiences in your own communities. So you're probably in the advocates and facilitators categories here. And we also want to get to parents and educators and be in those kind of ordinary community conversations. So that's our kind of guideline for where we're going. That helps us to decide on how to structure our communication. And we've been working to implement that going forward. You'll see a bit more of that actually in this year's campaign than we've had in previous years. And this is a kind of, as I said, I've been here since the beginning, so I recognize all of these campaigns. We kicked off in 2018 with our first HPV Awareness Day, with a campaign that some of us still hold quite closely to our hearts because it talked about love, and we don't talk about love enough in public, I don't think, but probably for good reasons, because it creates all sorts of difficulties when talking about a sexually transmitted disease. And it's in some locations that was quite difficult for our partners to engage with. So we moved on. We decided to not talk about love anymore, and we moved on to focusing on the virus with our Viral Secret campaign, and then a Viral Before the Internet campaign that was just kind of highlighting how we making that comparison between viral content and just the mundane things that we all see on the internet every day, and yet our lack of awareness about something really serious. So that theme really lasted for 3 years in different iterations, that concept. And then we moved into One Less Worry, which really was responding to some of the experiences through the pandemic, and really what felt like there was, many of us will recognize this kind of sense of perma-crisis, and that really what we needed to do was to, or what we had an opportunity to do with HPV, was to really remove a major source of worry and concern. And why wouldn't we do that? So this is a really positive campaign, and we're now into the 6th year, and we are continuing with that message because it seemed to resonate strongly, and was well received by partners and public. So that's where we are, carrying on with One Less Worry this year. So this is the concept, as I said, we've got a future filled with uncertainties. There's climate change, global health emergencies, inequalities, conflict. We all recognize that from our news channels every day. And the sense of overwhelm that leads to apathy around so much of it. And we wanted to really be able to mobilize people with a positive message. So we're really talking about HPV as something we can absolutely eliminate. It's a hopeful message. And we really want to move forward with that, eliminating HPV. And that is one less thing that we have to worry about in this world. This is taken from the report. As you can see, the figure, these are the figures from last year, but the most important thing, because these are all very big numbers, but the most important thing is really looking at the growth year on year. Last year's campaign really took off. It obviously resonated. All of these graphs went in the right direction. We issued a news release on Newswire that had a potential audience, picked up by news channels that had a potential audience of over 3 billion. So we were pleased with that. We don't know that 3 billion people have actually seen the piece, but we know that the potential audience for all of those media outlets was that. So that's what's in this. These are really the figures that have encouraged us to continue with One Less Worry into 2023, with some tweaks, which we'll run through for you now. Oh, but yeah, obviously, we want to talk about what some of our partners have done. So we've included in here, and these are also from the report. We love to see what you've done. We love to get your images. And we, of course, are following on social media to see what's going on. And this is, these are images from the work in Japan. So I'll let Nagayasu actually describe what happened in Japan on March 4th last year as an example of how the campaign's been implemented on the ground.
Okay, so I'd like to emphasize is our partner in Japan is actually not like a high panel or high hierarchy of in Japan, because sometimes they're just a group of the student or just actually the ones in the only the one person is a cervical cancer survivor, or one student like doing some campaign for the HPV vaccination for the younger or like a university student, something like that. Then quite interestingly, we also have the local counselors as a group, but not active compared to other people. Then this is a concept is that we have always the HPV effect affects everybody. Mm-hmm. So everybody can do something to prevent or like one less worry in the future. So like just a patient, parents, or like vaccine, like giving the vaccine, whatever. So that is a very good concept. Then actually I also emphasize the second point is our partner in Japan is a very, very, very proactive. So without IPBS, they can do something. But it's with IPBS and these like materials, they can do a bit more or like ignite another idea what they can do. So last year is something, the presentation is long, I think, but most is you can see everything.
You know, I'm sorry, I accidentally touched the wrong key and it's gone very big. And now I just have to figure out how I'm going to make it smaller again. So please.
Is it the slider bar at the bottom, Chris?
Yeah, because, okay.
There you are. That's it. Perfect.
So
Okay, sorry, you guys.
then like a main event is like it is very simple one is each actually 3 groups is having the like real event is talking about HPV. And then actually the many like local doctors or gynecologists joining and giving the talk is a relatively small group, sometimes only 20 people and sometimes 100 people, but we had the meeting. So this is we are calling the like MinPapi webinar and the lab web event is we are looking a lot of work. Then also the some groups is like a okay, doctor for the kids. Bed is having the making the poster and distributing the 1,000 clinics in Japan. Then it is a most fascinating one is like a very famous Siberian Triangle like crossing. We all day running the video, 30-second video for the 12 hours. So something like that. Then actually that is a very, very good like progress. Then we also planning following last year's event, we also planning to do some TV program this year because this is a like one actually one it's a bit sad to say, but it's one patient is a terminally ill cervical cancer is a manager of some TV program. Then this person is deciding I want to use my case for the campaign. So
Wow.
I don't know it works or not, but we are preparing the TV program for this. But all cases is IPBS cannot do many. So I would like to emphasize that people joining is proactively working towards how we can do that. So this is one achievement, but even the very small one, we can do it. So I would like to expand to the world.
Thanks so much, Nagayasu. I mean, it was amazing to see the Shibuya Scramble last year, and I think as you said, the kind of one of the biggest achievements of it was just that it was there, that you wouldn't have been able to have that happen a couple of years ago. It wouldn't have been. Actually, it wouldn't have happened.
Big achievement is actually it happened 2 years ago. First time I'm joined this this campaign. Then before that is almost it was the taboo talking about HPV or HPV vaccination in the TV program. But it's 2 years ago is one big TV group is broadcasting companies decided to pick up this story following our campaign, then making the one program. After that changed.
Yeah, amazing what can be done. So now on to the next slide, and I think it's Canada. Am I right? Chris?
Yes.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm just so I'm kind of my screen is frozen. I'll eventually get it to work.
Take your time.
There we go.
There we are.
Thank you, Anthony. You helped. You sent positive energy.
That's what I'm here for.
So it'd be great to hear how things were implemented in Canada.
Okay. So for us, we our focus was getting our message about cervical screening and the HPV vaccine to all demographics of the general population by focusing on simply the importance of vaccination at all ages and cervical screening over the age of 25. So we had our social media campaign, and included in that social media campaign were facts about HPV, HPV-related cancers, but also video testimonials, which were stories that were shared by people who either got the HPV vaccine and how it changed things for them, or what brought them to actually go get vaccinated, as well as from people who had cervical cancer and are in remission or are still dealing with cervical cancer right now, as well as people who knew somebody who was dealing with the HPV-related cancer. And I think that added to the success of that social media campaign, because it was something that was very personal, often very touching, but mostly very relatable. So that I think added to how important our social media reach was. We also got together a group of athletes from a local sports team and sports facility. And the motto of that was your best defense is to get the HPV vaccine, which was a play on, athletes and such. So, and that got our reach to be very to be very important as well, because it was picked up by the press, and it also increased the reach of our social media, because it created a sort of a secondary network for people to share information about HPV that probably wouldn't have shared it beforehand, which is a group of, manly men, and like really sort of that ended up being very, very receptive to the message that we had to share. So that was really, really impressive and pleasantly surprising. We also had healthcare professional webinars, and our webinars are always offered in English and in French. In addition to all of our messaging is offered in English and in French. And that had a really, really a great rate of attendance. Then we had our digital billboards, which was something that we were trying for the very first time, that we're very happy about having done. So we had partnered up with a group of it's a digital marketing firm based in Toronto, and with them we had our graphic designers work on our end on the assets that were given to us by your toolkit. We added a QR code on the banner, and we had banners show up in high traffic areas around the country. So the digital banners showed up at things like bus stops, shopping malls, highway billboards, huge. Yeah, it was really, really impressive in Ottawa, Vancouver, and Toronto. As well as in Montreal, we have a building called the Palais des Congrès, which is a convention center. And one of the highest traffic areas in that place, they agreed to also post up in French, our "One Less Worry, your best defense against HPV is the vaccine." So that was it was unprecedented, and it was really, really fun to see where around the country we got a lot of viewings. And I mean, one of the greatest moments was to see that one picture right there, which was a very, very large and imposing highway side banner. And for us, the most important thing was not only to tell people that, because I should mention that we had two digital banners done, one about the vaccine and one about cervical cancer. And because it was important for us not only to just tell people what was important, but to also offer them a way to get information that is very useful about where they can get the vaccine and where they can get cervical screening. Because in Canada, like most places around the world, the health ministries are provincial jurisdiction, and there are slight variations in the guidelines and the immunization programs in each province. So that QR code brought everybody who scanned it to the page where they can get this information based on which province they're living in. So it was a very useful link to have. And we just found out a couple of weeks ago, I met with the same firm, and we're going to do the same thing again this year. Yeah. And we're also adding another city into the mix. So it's going to be Toronto, Ottawa, Vancouver, and Calgary, which is smaller, but more people are gonna be seeing the campaign. So that was pretty interesting. And then I think the highlight video. So what we did is we took all of the events and all of the assets that we've created and that we got from your toolkit and the stories and everybody who participated. And we created a video to the music of the One Less Worry song that was made by your team in Singapore. So all of that was not only very fun to take part in, but it was really gratifying to see how it reached people.
Thanks so much, Anthony. It's really, really great to hear how it's worked. And yeah, the inclusion of QR codes to be able to provide local information is just so important. We want that as much as possible. We include one to our website, which is really for locations where there may not be information available to people or kind of easy access to services. But really the idea is that, yeah, as much as possible, if partners have got sources of support, of services that people can access, for sure, we want to get that information out to people. Thanks so much. And I'm really excited to see how things go this year. It's exciting with all these billboards. We need to hear about it and see how much it's cost you so that we can look at doing in some other countries. And this is Singapore. I don't know if Cindy hasn't been able to join us because it's the middle of the night in Singapore. But our colleagues in Singapore have been the Alliance for Active Action Against HPV, so A4HPV. They became a partner in 2021. They are closely linked to the Commonwealth Youth Network, the Commonwealth Health Youth Network, so who have made cervical cancer and HPV one of their key areas for action. And so this has been a fantastic new partner for us, leading us into a lot of different youth networks around the world. And helping us to work also with the network of Commonwealth leaders around the world and their spouses and First Lady network, which can be very powerful and active, particularly around cervical cancer. So we're really delighted to have them on board. And Anthony mentioned the music from the video from last year. So it was our friends in Singapore who actually pulled together a song called One Less Worry. They also developed some a Zumba dance moves kind of sequence that was used. They had the Minister of Health in Singapore at a press event doing this Zumba dance to the song that they had produced. That was really well picked up. You can see the news outlets along the top there where that was picked up in the various news outlets. They have done a really great job of really leveraging their voice as youth activists with politicians. So they've really focused on advocacy as well as public awareness. And this year, we're absolutely delighted that they have agreed that we can use the song as part of our campaign. They've also developed their own TikTok dance challenge, which they are kicking off and working through their Commonwealth Health Network this year. There are details of the TikTok challenge in the campaign guide this year, so you can find out more about it. And we're just in the final stages of getting the video produced. It's going to go out on World Cancer Day. So the idea is that this will be a challenge that runs from World Cancer Day through to International HPV Awareness Day to really raise awareness of it. It's one jab, one screen, one less worry is the lyric. And yeah, we're excited to see how that goes. But they're a fantastic, energetic group to work with. So we'll be delighted to see how this comes through on TikTok. We don't have a massive. It felt like TikTok didn't feel like a great space for us to get into ourselves. In terms of having a channel there, but it feels like a great place to be actually working with influencers, working with young people and youth networks to get some of that, to get visibility there. And I think it's what you were saying, Anthony, about getting people who wouldn't normally be talking about HPV, and really getting us out of the echo chamber. So that's what we're hoping will happen. So now going on to the toolkit, we're running with the same theme. What we've done this year is decided to create assets that allow us to kind of be more targeted with our communities on social media. So, and that goes back to what we saw at the beginning around kind of the doers and the dreamers and the doers. We have a 30-second vaccination video and a 30-second screening video. Are we going to try and run that? Do you want to try and run the video, Chris?
I will.
Yeah, we're just going to have a big caveat on this, is that if we can't hear the sound, we're just going to skip it and you can go and have a look at it yourselves.
Yes. Okay. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed we can see it.
Hear it.
And see it. No. No, nothing happening. No, I think we just move on. So basically, these are two 30-second videos, one focused on vaccination, one focused on screening. And these are available in addition to the video that we produced last year, which kind of is the general, this is, everyone, HPV affects everyone, but these are the things that we can do to address it, which talks to vaccination and screening in the one piece. So we'll be running with all of that content, and partners can do likewise. You can choose which ones you want to run with. You can use them all, but target them to different groups, or use them in different events or on different webinars. And that'll be great. I've lost the deck, Chris. We're back.
It was a failed experiment. We have to rehearse that.
I should have just opened the YouTube link on my screen and been able to run it from mine instead of, but I wasn't sure whether that would make it even more strange.
We're still
here. This is where we're here.
Perfecting our act. Here we were, right?
So, and we've gone down the same kind of split route on our other assets. So we have vaccination message posters, screening message posters. Some of those are the more emotional with the human faces. Some of them are more factual, just with the lettering. And those are reflected also in the social media posts that we're sharing online. But these are posters that can get printed out, put into any community setting, clinical settings, so on. And again, you have the ability as partners to co-brand. You can add your logo and you can swap out the QR codes that are on here to direct your local audiences to services that they can access near them. We have provided you with Dropbox links to the design files, which would enable you to produce translations into the languages that we don't provide. We do a lot of languages, but that's if there's a language that we're not providing, then you are able to use these materials and translate. We've just had, I believe, the translations produced in Maori, in New Zealand, so which we're delighted to see, kind of reaching out to communities that need information in languages that aren't broadly translated. So if you need support with that, get in touch with, if you can't find the files, get in touch with Chris. She can point you in the right direction.
Yes, and we've got also people working on Italian, Hungarian, Russian. These are languages that we haven't translated directly, but through the editable files, our partners in those countries are able to work on it themselves.
And we're also about to launch our new website, which also has translated page content for the first time since we started. So we're hopeful that will also help us with our promotion to particular countries. And it means also that people with where the translations are available, you will be able to, if you want to direct people to our website, you'll be able to pick a language filter and direct people specifically to a site that's in their language. So they're not landing on an English language site from a non-English ad. and then having to navigate to the resources that are in a language that they can understand. And we're working very hard to make sure that the information content is mostly on web pages, so that is translated automatically as well. So that should help with the accessibility this year. We've also this year developed a specific youth playbook, and this is really speaking to the work that's been going on with our youth partners. We've now got quite an active network of youth organizations, and we are also aware that our partners who aren't youth organizations will still have youth networks that they want to activate. This youth playbook puts specific actions that they can take to help us to advance awareness in the community. So you can download that from our campaign guidelines and toolkit as well.
Oh.
And we've produced, there's an imagery, we buy the rights to photographs every year that you can use. We've added some in for this year. We try and get regional variety, different family groups, and different age groups. You can pick those out, but you can also, I mean, these are a guide to styling. If you can find photographs, or you have photographs that you want to use that are from your community and reflect your community, then by all means, you're at liberty to use those in the editable files that we're providing to get something that looks like the people where you are, if that's what you need to do. So please feel free. We have a limited budget, so we pick carefully for regions and try and get the mix that we need, and we're aware we don't get every type of diverse combination that people may want to have. So we do our best. You can use them for free, but if you prefer to use something else, that's fine with us too. And yeah, this is where we were talking about, these are customizable messages for you. These are the languages that we do translate into. So English, Hindi, Bahasa Malay, Brazilian, Portuguese, Japanese, French, and Spanish. There are additional languages that will be available: Russian, Chinese, I believe, Italian, Hungarian, and Maori. So those are all there, and we have but for these languages we have actually got the translated logos and so on that are embedded. It might be trickier for logo translations, but we've managed it with other partners. So
one other thing that we could maybe add is that this year we've got every poster in two formats, one for digital use and one for print use. So two specific color palettes that facilitate both directions. We're trying to work on feedback we got from last year's campaign that in some instances things looked great digitally and didn't print out nearly as well. So we've tried to address that, and those separate files are available to the person in the team with design skills to make use of the right thing for the right purpose.
Yeah. Thanks. So yeah, I mean, this is the same. We've got you can localize. These are the factual ones. We have the non-factual. We have the emotional. They are all factual. We have the emotional ones and the factual. Kind of, it's just the emphasis. That's equally, you can do what you want to do there. And we have developed the social media. We had a social media post builder and a poster builder last year, which allow you to create something personalized. We're doing the same this year, but again, we've made a distinction between a vaccination call to action and a screening call to action. So you can build your own social media posts depending on which you want to do. You can mobilize your community to do this. You can reach out to high profile individuals in your community, local influencers, and ask them to prepare something and share it on their social media channels, which all helps us to get the message out. There will be specific campaign pages that we're developing, which will be one will be vaccination focused, one will be screening focused. We'll still be promoting everything, but we just know that for some people, it was difficult to navigate from a promotion about vaccination to then land on a generic website and again have to find their way to specific information about vaccination. So we're trying to surface that information for people so that there's a campaign ad that takes them to that and then backlinks into our website for more information. So it's a little more seamless and encouraging for people. We were getting great audiences and we were getting good website visits, but we were also getting a lot of people that came to the website and clearly didn't have the user journey wasn't continuing once they got to the website. So we've been trying to address that and make sure that it's clearer for people. If people are coming motivated to find information, we're making that as easy as possible for them. These are our wonderful street murals, which can be printed and they're large format. They can also be used if you wanted to print out pop-up banners for photo opportunities with people at events. But we love the idea of having these in large formats in public spaces as a focal point for sharing information. If you were going to be doing some street activation, sharing information with people, it would work fantastically well, we think, on college campuses as a way of creating a point for conversation around HPV. So that's there. Again, customizable in the same way as the posters. And here you can see how the social media post builders work. They're really simple. It's a step-by-step process online. You download it. There's no automatic sharing. You have to download the image and then post it to your own channels. But we think these are great. You can put your own message in. You can even write in your own language, even though the framing will be we may not have the frames in the language that you're looking for, but the message that can be typed up, you can write in any language and print that out. And then we have these lovely videos that we've got these for our, this remains in place from last year. All the GIFs that we have in the Giphy.com store for adding to Instagram stories or so on, that's all still there. The information is still there in the campaign guide about how to apply that, and it's highlighted in the youth playbook too. So you can see on the screen here those pink stars and clouds, and we have brains like chilling out. Those are all available to add to your own post to give them a little bit of life and a little bit of visual interest. And there you can see them all. These are animated, so they really are cool when they're on there. Yep, static posts to download. If you want to do your own, you want to do your customizable ones, you can. If you want to just go and get some off the shelf and schedule them up according to your own local priorities, by all means, they're there for you. There are banners for your social media profile pages. You can knock yourselves out. Here we are. You can see that's our digital advertising campaign. There'll be a live event. We have had this. We ran one last year. HPV Day last year fell on a Friday, and we had our session at 4 p.m. CET. It worked extremely well in terms of turnout. We think it was a good time of day for people. This year, HPV Day falls on a Saturday. We've kept the panel to the Friday because it's largely a professional audience that we're looking at for this. It's a broad stakeholder group, diverse organizations, but largely people who have got an interest through their professional work. So they were sticking with Friday. It'll be 3 p.m. We've got a fantastic panel. We're focused this year on screening. And but looking at how to advance access to screening for cancer prevention, but we're also looking to highlight some of the advances that are being made around screening for anal cancer and the opportunities that there are in relation to head and neck cancers caused by HPV. So the focus, the largest part of conversation is likely to be about cervical cancer because that's the largest burden of disease, but we think it's exciting that there are opportunities to look at other HPV related cancers and what we can do there, especially because if you're at risk of one, you're more at risk of the other forms of cancer too. So, and yeah, and there's our hashtags: no change, one less worry, HPV Awareness Day, and then for year-round use, when we're talking about HPV, we also use Ask About HPV. Yeah, and we've got IPVC, the Congress in Washington, D.C. We have, you've got until February the 21st to register to exhibit. We've got a special rate for Campaign Pavilion, which includes a full delegate registration. We would absolutely love to see you there as part of our Campaign Pavilion. There will be some campaign-related dialogues happening on the exhibition hall floor, which we hope will provide an interactive opportunities to engage with the campaign for IPVC delegates from around the world. This is the first time we've tried to do this, but we're really excited about it, and we really hope to see you there. And there we are. Good luck with everything. And we really look forward to seeing what you're doing. And you can always, keep us in the loop about what you've got planned, so that we can highlight that on our socials and help to amplify what you're doing. Yeah, if you've got any questions, I think we've got a small amount of time, but.
Thank you very much. I'm impressed with your work. You are amazing.
Thank you. Well, we hope that you can find materials that are helpful for you and that you can work with, and I'm sure we're here to help and share ideas. The whole partnership's here to help and share ideas, I think so.
Thank you, thank you. In Ukraine, very little number of people know about HPV, and the vaccination. And it's a big problem. And I and our team want to share information with Ukrainians. Yeah, you do very important work. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
And we have our website. We have a lot of Q&As. We've just redeveloped those, made them much simpler, much more accessible. We've added in some new information there when our new website comes live. Hopefully that will be a really good resource for our members. We decided to go away from producing leaflets and because so many people have those already, or we would be duplicating good work that was being done by other organizations. But what we will have is small pieces of information that can be easily collected, and you can create your own fact sheet and print that off and give it to someone, or create a web page and share it with someone so that you can give them specific information. So hopefully we can help people with the gaps that they have, and then not duplicate things that people already have good access to.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, do we have any questions from this small group? If not, then I just want to tell my colleague Anita, thank you enormously for walking through the materials and the presentation today. I think was excellent, and also Nadayasu and Anthony, really fascinating that you could share about activities in your countries from last year. It's the best form of storytelling when you're working on the campaign, just to see how things are in action. I hope that as we share this recording, with some of the others who registered and were unable to attend, and perhaps even further among partners. Your stories will continue to inspire. So thanks very much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
If there are no objections, I'm going to end this meeting.
No, thanks very much. Great to see you guys. Good
Thank
luck
you.
with
Thanks for
everything.
joining
Give us a
us.
shout.
Hearing from you, Maria.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
See you. Bye.